Hi everybody, thanks for pressing play on the video today. It's Caroline here from craftycarolinecreates.com. Today's project is this really beautiful box, and you're probably thinking, what is it? Well, it is a box where this slides up as a belly band, and inside it opens like this, and inside we have a lovely gift set of 3 beautiful handmade tags. These are actually what I made first because I love this stamp set and die, which is actually retiring. So don't hang around if you'd like it. It is the dies, I think, are on special offer in the retiring list. So scoop those up quickly. So the box has 3 tags in and then 3 greetings cards. And I made the greetings card because, you know, I'd say 99.9% of my cards that I made are an A4 cut in half and then folded in half. So I wanted to make some slightly different size cards, and I think these are really good size actually. These are this is a 6x6 square that I've just then folded in half, so that's 6x3. I've got a nice little embossing folder on the background, and then I've just made some more of those tags, some different sentiments, and I've just threaded them through some ribbon. And I think, you know, I really like those and the way they have turned out. And that's sort of, it was the cards and the tags that then evolved the box. And it has a little flap at the top to keep them all in place. This is all also done with that beautiful die. I'll show you how we do that in a moment. So let's close this up, slide my belly band back on. There we go. And I think it's a really elegant box. This is a favourite colour combination of mine. It's really bold, but it's really, I just think it's really pretty. Island Indigo, Rich Raspberry and Crushed Curry are the combinations there. So, shall we get on and I will show you exactly how I made it? Let's do it. So I'm going to start with a little bit of scoring. So I'm just going to bring in my scoreboard. Lift you up so you can see the top. There we go. And here is my stylus, and I have a piece of Rich Raspberry cardstock. This measures 9.5 inches by 8 1/4. Let's start with the 9.5 section along the top, and we are going to score this at 2 inches, at 3 inches, 6.5 inches, and 7.5 inches. Turn it round so we have our 8 1/4 at the top. I'm going to score it at 6 1/4 and at 7 1/4 inches. Okay. Next I have a piece of Island Indigo cardstock. This measures 9.5 inches by 3 inches. We're going to start by scoring along the top of it at 1 inch, at 4.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and at 9 inches. Okay, turn it round and we will score it at 1 inch. Now all of the dimensions, as always, are over on craftycarolinecreates.com, so don't worry if you missed any of them. You can go back over there and look at those. Okay, so I'll take that away. And now we are going to do a little bit of die cutting. So before we build these up, let's do our die cutting. As I said, we are going to use the Timeless Tags Framelits dies, which are absolutely gorgeous. They are retiring. I think they've been overlooked a little bit in the occasions catalogue. Really gorgeous dies. But they are reduced at the moment. There were still some available when I last looked, so these are great thing to grab at the moment. So I'm going to bring in my big shot. Okay, this is all prepped up, and the first thing we are going to use is this little die which has all those stars on it, and we're going to bring in this piece of Island Indigo that we just scored. And what we want to do is, we've got this 1/2 inch piece at this end, so the other end where we've got a 1 inch bit, we're going to just put a little bit of detailing on this section using this star die. Okay, so I've got my magnetic platform on there, so that makes this lining up this is really easy. See how that snaps into place, no need for washi tape. And I'm just going to position that by eye in the centre, roughly in the centre of my box. The die isn't symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter if it's not 100% perfect. Pop on our top plate, and let's just wind that through. I'm just going to push it back a little bit so I don't knock my tripod as I do this. Okay, there we go. And you can see what happens when we peel off the die. We are left with that beautiful relief. And what we're going to do is pop a little bit of Delightful Dijon, crushed curry cardstock behind there. And you can see how that gives a really beautiful effect. And the other bonus is you can push all these little shapes out, because we are using the relief effectively, of course, with this die. And you've got all these little stars. We're going to do some butterfly ones in a moment. Okay, just pop that away before I lose it. And as we've got the big shut out, let's continue doing our die cutting. We just need to do a tiny little bit of stamping before we do our butterfly one. So this is the matching, that's the tag stamp set, and we are going to use this dotted oval border. So I have a little piece of Whisper White cardstock, here it is. I've already mounted up my stamp, and my Island Indigo ink pad is here. And I'm just going to ink that up and then stamp that down really quickly. Okay. Now pull my big shot back in, lift this die up. Okay, and again the magnetic platform makes this super simple. There is an oval die which has this little hole in it ready to make your tag. This is going to be the decoration for the belly band, but if you were making the cards or the tags that I showed you, this is exactly the same procedure that you would do. So I'm just going to line that up around the stamped image. I find it easier to stamp first and then cut it out. And then I'm going to bring in my butterflies, and they're going to fly up the side of my oval. So I'm just going to again use the magnetic platform to get that exactly where I want it, just like that. Okay. Cutting plate goes on. These are really new cutting plates for me actually. Look how flat and beautiful they are. Okay, let's pop that in. If you have any tips for me for keeping these flat, let me know, because my last ones were really warped, as you've probably seen. Let's pull that out, and you can see that we have cut out the shape, and we've cut out our butterflies beautifully, like that. Okay, so let me just tidy this all away. That's all of our die cutting done for now. So we will just put these bits together. So I did do this in advance actually. I just cut out one of those ovals for some Island Indigo cardstock. And we are just going to stamp a sentiment. That's the tag set is actually a really good sentiment set as well, if you just wanted to buy it for that reason. We're going to use For You, because it's kind of appropriate for a gift set of cards. So I've mounted that up, ink out again. And I'm going to stand up so I can hopefully get a good impression for you. Some of my stamping on these videos recently has been a bit questionable, hasn't it? There we go. For You. Lovely. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals when I find them. Here they are. Put my cardstock on top. I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back here. One more, I think. Okay, and this is exactly how you would make your tags if you were making tags or you were making the medallion sort of for the front of a card. Just going to line those up on top of each other, and you can see how you get that beautiful effect. Okay, let's put that away before I get it all over me. And then this that I cut out, we're also going to take a little bit of what colour is this? Crushed curry, that's the one. I'm going to stick it behind here. So I'm just going to use a bit of Tombow. We are going to be sliding our cards into this bit, so I just want it to be flush. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow around, and then I can stick piece of cardstock on top. And you see, as I previewed before, you get that lovely effect shining through. Okay. So we're going to use this to decorate our belly band. As I said, you do get the hole in the top there. If you don't like that hole, you could cover it up with a diamond or something, but I don't think it's that bad. So let's make this box up to begin with. I'm just going to use my bone folder to sharpen up those creases. Okay, just the one along the base. And where are we going to cut? We are going to cut across the bottom up all of these lines to where it meets the line going in the opposite direction. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's spin that around. There we go. I'm just going to cut off that little 1-inch bit completely, and the other 2 squares here, sorry, that was the 1/2-inch bit that we cut up completely. These ones here we are just going to trim down very lightly, just like that. And now we can build this up by using a bit of fuse. So you're going to put fuse firstly along this little 1/2-inch tab, and then just fold your box over in half like that. That pops up like that. Fold in your side tabs. The flap at the decorative bit goes to the back like that. So we just need to put a bit of fuse again along the edge here. Close that up, and that is our little box made where our cards are going to sit. We bring back in the large bit of rich ravelry that we also scored, and we can start to score, fold and burnish all of those score lines that we made. Okay, and what we are going to do is we want to effectively cut these edge bits off, these 4 end squares on either side, so we're just left with this central bit. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up the second score line in from the edge on both sides, just like that, and then we're just going to cut off here so that whole section comes away, and turn it around and do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, I'm just going to use my corner rounder on these 2 corners that we are left with here and here, like that. Alright. Now before we fold it up and start putting it together, we are going to put some decorative mats on these 2 pieces. So I've already prepared those, and what I have is 2 pieces of crushed curry cardstock. These measure 1 3/4 by 6 inches, and what I've already done is emboss these using this is the Falling Petals embossing folder, which is really beautiful. I know a lot of you got this free during celebration actually, but it's a really beautiful embossing folder. These measure 1.5 by 5 3/4 inches, and these are just going to mat up on top of each other like that, so we get a little sneaky peek of the yellow. So I'm just going to use some, should we use Tombow? Let's use some Tombow on the back of here. So firstly, going to mat that up on top of the crushed curry. There we go, just like that. A little bit more here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back of the yellow. And pop that into place like that. Okay, on one side, turn it around, and the same on this side. Okay, there we go. Now what we need to do is, this is our top, this is a flap that falls over to keep our cards inside the box. It closes up like this, and this box goes on the other bottom and it just goes in the middle, the centre like that. So I'm just going to put Tombow on the back and pop that down just like that, and then I'm just going to get my fingers inside. Oh, don't twist it like that. There we go, and just press that down. So you can see our box is really starting to take shape now. Yeah. So what you could even do at this point is pop your cards in. Which one should we put on the top? Should we go for the yellow? I think the yellow would look nice, and it even looks like you can see it poking through a little bit. Okay, I also actually made some, I haven't actually made the envelopes yet. You would do that, of course, using the envelope punch board. And I made some tags as well in the 3 colours. We can pop those in at the bottom. This flap, as I said, comes over so that your cards, when you're giving the box, they're not going to fall out the top. But we need some way of keeping it closed, and we're going to use a belly band for that, as you know. So I have a piece of Island Indigo cardstock for that. This measures, what does it measure? It measures 11 inches by 2 inches. And I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use sort of a pinch and fold method to attach this. So I'm going to start with this in the centre, and rather than folding and scoring, I'm just going to bend it round and bend it round. And then I'm just going to take it off, and I'm going to use my bone folder to reinforce those creases that I've made by pinching. Okay, so you can see that goes on there like that, and then we're going to flip it round again and pinch just like that. Okay, and again, as I said, use your bone folder to sharpen up those creases. Okay, and that should then, oh, if you don't drop it. What do you think of these colours together? I'm a big fan of these colours together actually. I think they work really well. Okay, what you need to do is pull it tight enough so it's going to keep your box closed, but not so tight that you can't pull it on and off. So something like that looks good to me. So a bit of Tombow on this flap, and then just hold that down for a second, like that, until it sticks into place. Okay. There you go. And to decorate this up, you could, of course, just stick on top your tag that we made, just like that. I think that looks pretty nice. But I just want to add a little bit more of an accent. So this is the Succulent Garden white ribbon. Comes in a pack with some Sweet Sugar Plum ribbon as well. Again, I think this is also available at a great price at the moment in the clearance rack. Not in the clearance rack, on the retiring list. So it's a good thing to just pop one out in your basket. So I'm just going to stick that down with some glue dots. So I'm just going to put a few glue dots around the box. So one goes there. One on the side. You could always do this when it's flat before you wrap the belly band round as well. So in the centre there. Okay. And cut that off. Doesn't need to be perfectly neat because remember we're going to cover this joint very neatly, very nicely with our tag that we made. Just bring that round so it meets there, and then we can pop our tag on top. So let's put some dimensionals on the back. Okay. I'm just going to pop that in the middle there. Just like that. Push that up into the centre. And there we have it. I think it is a really beautiful gift box. Nice to make cards of a different dimension to the ones that we normally do. But yeah, I think that looks really cool. You could put some embellishments on it if you wanted to pick that up. But I think this, as I said, this die and stamp set is really beautiful. So if you like it, don't hang around and add it to your basket. Pop over at craftycarolinecreates.com and you can shop 24/7. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or there is anything I can help with, please do not hesitate to get in touch. See you later. Bye bye.